Hello Capricorn, I'm Ulrich, I'm a Lenormand card reader, but today we will use the financial deck for your card reading. The laying is done with 3 cards, which you see here in front of me. You can also see 4 objects here on the table, meaning we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Capricorn for the month of October 2021. And this video here is for Capricorn. Now, from these 4 objects, you choose one or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate best to your current financial situation or the advice that you are receiving from the cards regarding that financial situation. Of course, you can watch all 4 videos related to the Capricorn sign, and when you watch all 4 videos, you can then decide which symbol or object is fitting your personal card reading the best. The matches here represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. So Capricorn, here we go for your card reading for October 2021. Hello Capricorn, and welcome to the shell or the water group for your financial card reading for October 2021. You can see the 3 cards here in front of me, but before we start, I want to mention that 27 September to up to 18 October, Mercury started to run retrograde, meaning this is not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under and sign for officializing. It's not a good thing to do. Also, you will see that your bus is late, your flight is canceled, packages that need to be delivered in your home are wrong delivered, or the containers is wrong. These are all things that are happening because of Mercury is running retrograde. It's because the collective mind, the mind of all people is going a little bit slower. Also, it's not a good idea to buy cell phones or, for instance, laundry machines. Why? These things are connected to warranties, and the warranty is connected to the contract. So it's best not to make any agreements or contracts at all. If, however, for some reason you're obligated, you have no choice, or you choose to sign a contract, double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you change your mind. You want to get out of the contract, you cannot anymore. If you want out, you need to pay a big fine, or you didn't read the fine print very well. Anyway, the idea is here that you don't sign any contract at all during that period. Now, here we go with the card reading for the water group of Capricorn. The first card here that we see here is the card. The general impression I have from this reading is that we maybe a little bit on the light side of spending money. But we just go into details here. The first card is the card of youth. Here, probably you know the famous diction that says both boys will be boys and girls just want to have fun. So probably this card relates to that. It means probably in the past you spent some money. You want to probably award yourself, because this is what this first 2 cards are about. Here, this card points to that sometimes if we go shopping, some of us have like outbursts. We don't control ourselves too well. If we go to the store and we buy things we don't actually need. Here, this card tells you to be more aware of these things, regardless of a person's age. It doesn't mean that he cannot be aware of the way he spent money. Of course, as we get older, we get more perfected. It's part of the circle of life. However, some of us are younger and gain control more easy over consumption habits or consumption behavior, and they are more advanced compared to their peers. So this card tells you here, or asks you to reflect over the ideas and compare your situation, how you are now to compare to your peers, to people around you. This card asks you if you are mature enough, or do you still have spendthrifts, like outbursts for spending things that you don't actually need. Remember, this card says you are never too young to be financially mature, and you're never too old to change financial behaviors related to spending. If you have the advantage of youth and at the same time you're financially mature, this card tells you you will soon have be rewarded for your efforts. If you have the assets of being older and wiser and experienced, use those abilities in your advantage and enjoy life's gifts with moderation. And if you do so, for both, the rewards will follow soon. The second card here is about these rewards. We can reward ourselves with several things, and some people are happy with simple rewards. For instance, we go out for a walk, it's very cold outside, we come back, we drink a glass of warm milk with honey, and we are so happy. Or it's very hot outside and we drink a glass of iced tea with ice cubes inside, and we feel like we are in heaven. These are rewards that cost only very few, but this card is about that we reward ourselves sometimes, and maybe these rewards are more expensive. This card tells you you need to reward yourself for your work. Of course you need to, but it's important, this card tells, not to overdo it. Don't destroy efforts for savings that you made in the past, and keep your savings as they are. Of course you deserve a reward, everybody, but this card tells you to find for rewards that make you happy and that don't cost much, like things that don't make your wallet bleed. For instance, you can take a walk, you can read, you can go to the library, you can listen to music, things that don't actually cost money. Whether it's idleness or activity, get to know yourself better and see what makes you tick. So I'm sure you can find your own resources, and you can encourage yourself for finding things that interests you, reward you without financially costing you anything. The last card that we have here is the card of our monthly payments or mensualities here. We all pay our bills. We have our phone bills, we have internet services, we have insurances, we have magazines. We have all things that we pay systematically or that come systematically back. This card tells you to pay attention to these small monthly payments, because many of us don't even see if the businesses that we have the agreement with, they increase sometimes the monthly payments. Maybe you don't even notice them anymore if invoices are slightly increased without your consent, because these people, they have consent, they can adjust the invoice if they like to. Of course, you as an informed customer, you should receive these changes, but mostly the customer is not informed about this. So this card tells you to pay attention to these offers, because sometimes we sign a contract with a time limited offer and afterwards you extend and you get conditions without actually your approval. So this card tells you, check out what your for instance, your internet company charges you, check for discounts. If they charge you too much, you can balance if it's not wise to change. For instance, check also the annual expenses on your bank account. This is very important, for instance, because some credit cards that we have are very expensive, especially the interests on certain credit cards. Especially if you go below zero, they are very expensive. So this card tells you to check the rates. If you are planning to check this, and also this card tells you to compare it to other banks. And if you are surprised, even though it's so expensive, maybe you can think about it like taking an internet account, because most of these accounts are for free. Why they are so cheap? Well, because they have no offices, of course. They don't have staff, they don't have offices, and in general, they are connected to very big banks, but under a different name. Mostly we just pay we pay the credit card in itself, and we pay a small annual amount. Sometimes it's $10-20 we pay per year, but this is very cheap. This is our like small details, but they can save you in a year. For instance, for a bank account, soon you are at $500, €500 a year. So anyway, if you see that your bank is overcharging you, or some of your companies are overcharging you, this card tells you need to take care of that and put yourself in a better position and get in control of that. This card tells you that every small amount counts. We never know what is coming, because if you calculate all these small amounts, well, with that one we can buy something for ourselves, for compensating ourselves. Maybe we can add it to our annual holiday, or whatever you want to do with it. Anyway, this is all for Capricorn, for the water group. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so. Check out also the classical Lenormand reading we do every month for each sign. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and see you in my other videos. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air group for your card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I mention it in every group. On 27 September, Mercury started running retrograde. This is up to 18 October. It's not a good idea during that time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under and sign it for officializing. It's not a good thing to do. Also, you will see that your flight is canceled, your flight is delayed, your train is late, you're in the traffic jam. Packages that need to be delivered in your home are in the wrong destination, the containment is wrong. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde. Why is this? Well, because our mind, the mind of all people, is tending to go a little slower, and this is causing these irregularities. Also, it's not a good idea, for instance, to buy cell phones, laundry machines. Why? These devices are connected to warranties, and the warranty is connected to the contract, and you get the picture. If, however, you decide for some reason to make contract, or you have no choice, or you're obligated, double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you sign, you change your mind a few days later, you cannot get out of the contract anymore. If you want to get out, you need to buy a big fine. You didn't read the fine print well, and the circle is starting. So my advice for you would be during that time not to sign any contracts up to 18 October. Anyway, coming back to the card reading here. This card reading, the general idea here of the card reading that I see is here that we need to be creative with our money and prepare us, because we never know what is coming in life. But we will go do the cards piece by piece here. The first card that we see here is that every gesture counts, meaning if you are here, this card tells you to observe your bank account, and maybe sometimes on regular basis you spend small amounts of money, and you don't remember anymore even what you're spending on it. You pay small amounts that actually don't have big consequences. But the point of this card is that we no longer have control over our money, meaning we work with a credit card and we don't actually check what we are paying. Why? Because we don't actually have the paper money in our hand anymore. Before we open our wallet, we see the money, we pay, and when the money is out, we realize, okay, it's gone. But now this is not the fact anymore. We don't realize anymore, because every time if we pay cash, there's like psychological pain, because we see, oh, the amount is getting less, and we experience this as a psychological pain. But if we pay with the card, we don't have any sense with the card. So this is what this card is about, for getting you your sense back, and because the brain don't calculate in the cards, but with money it does. A lot of people lost a lot of money because they didn't realize, some getting problems, but this is what this card is about. It's like for making you aware how you spend. So if you do sometimes buy things that you don't actually need, this card tells you to balance this more out and control yourself and pay more cash. It will be easy for you, and things that you find insignificant, small amounts. At the end of the month, if you start calculating this, you will see it's a big amount. And if you save this money, it will prevent you and it will protect you for here, the next card, for the irregularities or the things we cannot foresee in life. This is like, this card is that we prepare ourselves for when times get less easy. This is not an alarming card. It's just a card that says we need to be careful because we never know what is coming in our life. There will always be rainy days or storms. We know that. There's a lot of storms now with the climate change. But when it comes to money, it's unrealistic also that we don't need to prepare ourselves for things that can happen, irregularities here. And this card tells you, do you have a rescue plan? Do you have a safety cushion? This card asks you to foresee the unforeseen and the unpredictable. We don't know what is going to happen in the future. So this card asks you if you are ready for financial turmoil or disruptions. And did you prepare for that? Here also related to insurances, because the world is changing. Do you have sufficient insurances? For instance, on your life, on your house, because as we see now, there are floods everywhere, there are storms everywhere, fires. So this is what this card is about change and irregularities here that we see here. This card also asks you not to spend all you earn, make some savings. Also, this card is connected to sometimes to pay cuts. So this card asks you, if you, let's assume you have a pay cut, can you maintain your life standard? So this card asks you to reflect over these things, to be in control of that. And if necessary, you need to foresee the unforeseen here. The last card here is about being creative, what we spend our money on. What does this mean? Well, in the current world, we can buy everything. Everything is for sale. And because we buy everything, we are losing our own creativity. It's choking our imagination and also our wallet. So in the end, a lot of us are paying for the lack of creativity that we display. For instance, if you give a present to somebody, you go shopping for a box for putting your present in. You spend 2-3 hours. The box costs you actually too much, but probably you have some recycled materials in your home, and it takes you about 15 minutes for adjusting this for a birthday or whatever, for maybe for your son, for your cousin, and you don't need to pay nothing. This is what we mean with being creative with our money. With a little inventiveness, we can do this ourselves, and also we can, for instance, man or woman or which whatever parents, we can bake a cake, we can bake a pie, and we don't need to pay a big amount of money for the pie. So here with this card, originality is the order of the day. So this card asks you to start thinking out of the box. Don't spend money on small things. Be creative yourself and see how you can fill your own creativity. So think about your creativity and see how you can save money with that. Make room for your imaginative spirit, as they say. Also in your kitchen, this card tells you to be more creative in your kitchen, even in your work, in your management position, if you have that. So this card asks you to be creative in general. So Capricorn, for the air or the aerosol group, this is all for this month. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 2 card readings or 3 card readings that following here. And you can also check my classic Lenormand card readings that we do every month for every sign. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and see you in my next card reading. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to the Stone or the Earth group for the month of October 2021. Before we start, I mentioned 27 September up to 18 October, Mercury started running retrograde. It's not a good idea to sign contracts, agreements, anything that you need to put your name under for officializing. It's not a good thing to do. Why is this? Well, during that time, our mind works a little bit slower. This has the following results. Packages are delayed that need to come in our house. For instance, the train that we take is late, the flight is canceled. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde. Also, it's not a good idea to buy cell phones, laundry machines. Why? These things are connected to the contract, and the contract is the problem here in the case. So it's best during that time not to sign any contracts at all if you can. So also during that time, you will see lot of things. For instance, also your internet, it can be delayed. Your emails are not arriving sometimes. This has consequences. Anyway, the general idea here is not to sign any contracts at all. If, however, for some reason you are obligated for signing a contract, you have no choice or you feel compelled, double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible a few days later or a little bit later, you change your mind, you want to get out of the contract, you cannot anymore. If you want to get out, you need to pay a big fine because you didn't read the fine print well, and the circle is starting. So the idea here, my advice to you would be during that period, not to sign any contracts at all. It will save you a lot of worries and also a lot of money. The first card here that we see here in the lane for the stone group is the card of our ancestors, or also the card of other people. This card tells us to think about the comfortable position that a lot of us are in. Maybe you are in a comfortable position in your life financially, but anyway, this card wants to remind you where you come from, meaning our grandparents, for instance, a lot of them needed to live on one salary with a lot of children. They had no spare money. They could just spend what they have. They had no credit cards. So this card wants you to compare yourself to the times then so long ago. Also, there was no luxury in that time. They didn't have herbs, exotic herbs. They could not travel. And we can all do this because we live in a more luxurious world. Also, we should think that this card says us about people who have very few or nothing. For instance, I know it sounds dramatic, but I think it needs to be said. Like, for instance, refugees, we can see now in Afghanistan what is happening there, or people who are affected by the floods everywhere in the world, or the fires. So this card tells you if you are not in that position, you are lucky to be so. So this card tells you to count your blessings, as they say. So actually, you will come to the conclusion, I'm assuming, that you cannot compare yourself to that situation. So you need to reflect on yourself, position yourself, and see how happy you are. The second card here tells us that time is not our friend. In generally financial, if we are in financial matters, time matters. For instance, for giving an example, if you have certain debts on credit cards and you don't pay these debts or this outstanding debts back by the end of the month, of course, you know you will have interests. This card tells you not if you have certain credit cards and these credit cards are not balanced out, you should follow up more. For instance, you must take charge of your situation. Don't wait until the holidays, because these things cost you money that you actually don't want to spend. There is no perfect time for doing this, but you need to act on it, this card. So for making yourself more financially secure. So if you do so and you don't check, for instance, credit cards that are below zero because it don't interest you, this card tells you you should do so. Even though this card tells you, it adds, take a paper, a pencil, and analyze, write down what this has costed you. It might seem insignificant, small amounts, but eventually it accumulates up to a lot of money. So this is what this card is about, that time is not our friend related to the time and to our money. So this card tells you to take the reins of your budget and take control again. Then we have the last card here. This is about financial education, both cards. Three cards are a little bit in the same context for this group. This is about learning ourselves better to handle money. So also not only ourselves, but also our children. This card asks you if you see the head here of the student. This card asks you if you ever talk to your children about money. If you don't, this card tells you you should. Um, don't don't skip this topic, because also in your house the money don't fall from the trees, I'm assuming. So for instance, I give you an example. You're in the supermarket and your child asks you for a toy. You said to you answer to your son or your daughter, this is not the right time now. And then the child answers quickly. It says, why not? Your wallet is full of credit cards. This is what this card is about. Children sometimes don't realize the value of money and when it's fitting. So this card tells you you need to educate your children about this. It will be better on the long time and rewarding for them on the long run that they have knowledge about that and you turn them into knowledgeable consumers. This is what this card is about. So talk to your children about money, learn them, break the taboo about this. It's not a taboo, it's a very valuable lesson for them. And by teaching them how this things works, it gives them a very good foundation for later on building something in their life. So Capricorn, for the student group, this is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so. And please watch also my other videos related to Capricorn, the monthly readings that we do here. And also thank you for that. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you in my other videos. Bye-bye for now. Thank you. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I want to mention that on 27 September up to 18 October, Mercury started running retrograde. So this is not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under that officialize it to a contract. It's not a good thing to do. Also, you will see that if you take the train is late, your flight is delayed, your flight is canceled, you're more in traffic jams, your emails don't come on time, it has consequences. So this is all because the mind, our mind, the mind of all people is going a little bit slower and it causes some disturbance. Also during that time, it's not a good idea, for instance, to buy cell phones or laundry machines. Why? These devices are connected to a warranty and the warranty is connected to the contract and we go in the circle. If, however, for some reason, you feel obligated, you have no choice, you feel compelled to sign a contract, double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you change your mind, you want to get out of the contract, you cannot anymore. If you want to get out, you need to pay a big fine, and there we go, it don't stop. So my advice to you during that period is not to sign any contracts at all. Coming back to the reading for the matches group, the first card here that we see is the card of love. So it's probably means that the people around you, you love them dearly. And also it means that you probably spend money on them. Of course we should, but here this is a different kind of spending. We can show affection, we can show love, but this is about that you spend money for them, for spoiling them. And probably these amounts are a little bit too high because else this card would not be here. Maybe you treat them on restaurants, you take a lot of takeouts with them, you buy them toys. This is what this card is all about. This card wants to tell you that even if you give presents, they will not love you less and they will not love you more. The most precious gift, this card tells us, that you can give to the ones around you is time. The problem in our current society is time. Nobody has time. We have no time. We have no time for our loved ones. We are rushing around like race cars. And this card tells you to change that. Rather than to buy an expensive gift, try to adjust your schedule and spend time with the people that you like and love alone. This is what this card is about. Show interest in them by valuing them through your precious time. Also, the best memories that we carry with us for our children and our loved ones come out of stupid anecdotes, things that happen in our life that we all love together. So be gentle here, this card says, with yourself. See the positive income that this will bring for you. And it's not the finances that will make you love them more or reversed. It's the depth of the relationship here that is important. The second card here is the card of heritage. This is a card actually, if you made up a plan, this card tells you not to rely on inheritance of family. Maybe you are expecting some family member that is in bad health or bad condition, and this person is gonna pass away. Some people incalculate that in pensions. I'm just a messenger here. This is what this card is about. This card tells you not to do so. Don't rely on other people for your future, not for your pension. You need to rely, this card says, on yourself. Why? Well, as we know now, there's a lot of accommodations and people get older. There's a lot of medication. So people get older and older. If you compare your the age that your parents will become, luckily, and you compare that to their grandparents, you will see there's a very big difference in age. Why is that? Well, because there are much more means to keep us in good health. So the life expectancy has exploded over the past years, over the past decades. So our parents live longer than their ancestors. And then we need to add to that, as they get older, they may need to sell their house and use their savings for services suited for their personal survival, and who can blame them? Here also, and then we need to add also that each individual, that's another angle, has the right to change his testimony, and they can do that at any time. Who knows? I didn't say this is the case for you, but who knows that our mother or our father will not succumb to the young Venus next door or Cupid they met on the internet. We never know, and we can never say this will never happen. So we need to reflect wise here about inheritance and money that we rely on receiving from other people. It can be part of the retirement analysis, it can be, but nonetheless, we need to be aware that some things can happen. So if you plan or have some plans to incalculate that, especially if this relates to your pension, be wise about that, provide for yourself, and you will come out as a winner already. The last card that we have here is about social pressure that we are experiencing in our current society. What does that mean? Well, we are human beings, and we compare ourselves to other people, to our peers, to our brothers, to our sisters, to our neighbors. We live in a community, and this community determines our place in that relationship to others. So we operate in a society, and this society is over-consuming. We already know this. So our friends, neighbors, they are driving in nice cars, new luxurious cars, they're wearing designer clothes, expensive shoes, and maybe you, for your part, you manage to get around, but you cannot get to the level that they are. This card tells you not to be fooled. Not everything is what we see. We make choices every day, and you are the one responsible for those choices. So don't be fooled by other people's appearance and how they live. This card suggest you to use your money wisely, take care of yourself. For instance, if you are faced in the future with like a big expense, like a car, let's say, this card tells you to use your money in another way. Meaning, for instance, you can buy a used car, a young second-hand car, 6 months old, with an extensive warranty. You will save a lot of money in that area then. We can buy a lot of things on the internet, second-hand sites. Sometimes the things that we buy there are new, including the warranty. So this is what this car is about. Step a little bit off the new and the expensive. Try to use your money in a different way, and you can still maintain a very nice lifestyle. It's not always what looks good on the outside that is actually happening. So you need to define yourself socially by your personality and your own accomplishments. You yourself are more important than the shoes and the clothes, so don't bend for the social pressure of the group, peers, friends, or relatives. This is what this laying is about. So Capricorn, for the matches group or the fire group, this is all for this month. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. Anyway, thank you for watching, and also check out my other videos you can find on my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time, and thank you for your time. Bye bye for now. See you.